Hey guys, so it's that time of year where you can tell like we're getting ready to take down the Christmas stuff, and this is the part of year that I hate. I absolutely hate it. Like it's the worst. But so I'm gonna start talking today about the Christmas season because it's my favorite part of the year. And being at a small rural church, we can do some things that a lot of churches that are a little larger can't. And so first thing I want to talk about is our Christmas party. So we have a church-wide Christmas party. This is the first year we've done it. I did it at my last church, and it was a huge hit. And I thought, oh man, like this church, like the people are hilarious. It's gonna go over super great. And you know what? It did. We were right. But a lot of churches can't do Christmas parties. We're like a small to medium church. We run between 150, 200 people every Sunday. And so we can do some things that churches that are larger cannot, because we can get together. And next year, like this was a trial run, and so next year we're gonna have to figure out how to add more tables and that kind of thing. But what we did was we used some Download Youth Ministry games to start off with. My pastor opened in prayer. You know, he had to redeem what we were about to do. So he opened in prayer, and then we went into a time of, we just played some fun games. We played the Emoji Christmas Carol one, where emojis pop on the screen, and then they have to yell out and guess what Christmas Carol it is. And then we played Karaoke Christmas, and that was awesome. Where Siri like reads the lyrics to a verse of a song, and then they have to guess what it is. And so that one was awesome as well. Feliz Navidad. Siri does not speak Spanish very well, so it was really funny. And then we went into Ho Ho Oh No, which was the free game from DYM during the month of December, and our older people got into that game. Like our little kids didn't know a lot of the answers, but our older people knew the answers. They were yelling them out. And then we went into the 12 Days of Christmas. So I grew up in the state of Virginia, and in Richmond there's a church called West End Assembly of God, or WEAG, and that's where my aunt and uncle and their family go. And so I always went to their Christmas play. Every year they have angels flying from the ceiling, and they have real animals, and it is just crazy. So, but they always, in the middle of their production, they do the 12 Days of Christmas, and every part of the sanctuary is a different number, and everybody has their own motions they have to do. And so we played that in our little tiny church, and so every table in the fellowship hall got a number. And that was so much fun because it was during 3 French hens. I told them, I said, okay, so you're going to have to figure out how to be hens and how to be French. You might want somebody to say like some French words, whatever they know. And an older gentleman stood up every single time it was their turn and went, wee wee, and then sat back down. And it cracked everyone up. Some of our elementary age boys were geese laying, and so they took their papers and balled them up and acted like they were laying eggs each time. So my introverted husband was 10 Lords of Leaping and literally leaped across the fellowship hall. So we could do those things and have a lot of fun doing that, and other churches can't do that. And so when you think that you're too small, think about things like that, where you can do intergenerational things very easily. And then after we did the 12 Days of Christmas, then I told the nativity story. And so every time I said a new character, we pulled somebody on stage, and ended up all of our kids in our kids ministry wanted to be the people on stage. And so we pulled them up, and then our high schoolers put just headdresses on them real fast. And that cost me $13. The headdress is $13. That was it. And so, but it was super, super simple, super easy. So that's one of the things you can do. And one of the things that we did and loved, absolutely loved, And so the next thing that we did was that Friday night we had our youth Tacky Light Tour. And I've talked about the Tacky Light Tour before. I love the Tacky Light Tour. And I grew up doing the Tacky Light Tour with my family. And then when Jared and I got married, we would come up and to Virginia from South Georgia, and we would do a Tacky Light Tour ourselves. But it's free to our kids except Chick-fil-A. So one of the things is I want to, during the Christmas season, provide free things or things that are super fun that don't cost a lot of money. I mean, a Chick-fil-A meal, the kid can bring $10 and that can, like, throughout the Tacky Light Tour, he can even get hot chocolate, right? So for $10 you can do something. So during Christmas, because parents are worried about how they're going to pay for gifts, how they're going to pay their bills along with paying for gifts, those types of things. So I want to provide something free. So the Tacky Light Tour, we drive 2 hours north to Richmond, and then we eat at Chick-fil-A because we don't have a Chick-fil-A in our little town. And then we drive around Richmond, and you can go to tackylighttour.com, and it has different places around the country. Richmond has, I don't know, hundreds of places you can go to. And throughout the years, I've been hitting just the big ones with my students. And my students were really excited because we went to one that had just won, a Tacky Light Tour thing on TV. And so we went to that one, and they got hot chocolate. One of the ladies has like a pet rat. It's kind of weird. And the first year we took 2 vans. We probably only needed 1. And then last year we only took 1 van, but we were illegal. And so we had 13 people in a 12-person van. Not too smart. I told a kid that I knew really well and their parents really well. I was like, hey, I know your parents will be okay with this, so you're the one that's still on the floor. Okay, great. And then this year, we took 26 kids and 5 adults. We went from 13 to 31 in a year. Now, we've had some issues, like we've had a kid commit suicide in our town. And so that's part of the reason why we have more kids. But the other reason we have more kids is because our kids are inviting friends, they're inviting friends, or I'm at every game. Like, this is my calendar for the month of January. Everything in blue is a high school or middle school game. Now, I can't make Wednesday nights, but everything in blue is a high school or middle school game. And that's my goal, is to get to as many as I can. And because of that, we were sitting at a football game this past fall, and one of the kids was like, hey, can I come to church? Like, can I come to youth? I know I don't go to your church, but we don't have a youth group. And I said, of course you can come. Like, why wouldn't you be able to come? And so because of that, like, that kid started coming actually this winter. And so things like that. Like, and then he went on the Tacky Light Tour, and we've had all these kids, like, just show up. And then we did something free for our children's ministry, and we just did Parents' Night Out. Our youth babysat our kids, and we did Parents' Night Out. And we didn't have a lot of kids. We had like 15 show up. And then we had 5 youth show up, and it was fun. Like, we had so much fun. But one of the dads came up to me at the end, and he was like, Ariel, whose idea was it to do this? And I said, well, it was mine. We wanted to provide something for the kids and something for you guys. And he said, well, I could kiss you, because Santa actually was able to get everything done. Like, I put everything together throughout this time, and we said it was till midnight, but everybody was picked up by 10 o'clock, right? Like, everybody. So that was simple. We provided pizza, we played games, we did some crafts, and there were leftover crafts that I had from children's church. So it wasn't like we went out and spent all this crazy money, because we didn't. And they were all those things that I just talked about were huge wins for our church for Christmas time. And that doesn't include making sure that we had everything on Facebook, like all of our dates and times for services and that kind of thing. That doesn't even include that, right? So make sure that you're providing some free things or almost free things during the year, especially Christmas time. Um, the the second thing is make sure it's fun and make sure it's for the whole family. Like provide things that are for the whole family. We don't do it a lot throughout the year, but when we do, it becomes huge. Um, Switching gears really quick, I want to talk about your New Year's planning. Um, for me, I like to plan in the fall and I like to plan at New Year's. And in the fall, I'm talking like I plan all the way through next summer. And so at New Year's, I revisit that plan and say, okay, is this where I really went, or where do I need to change things? What are my goals? Am I still seeing those goals happen? So I revisit a lot of things this time of year. I also sit down with my planner and I have to have a paper planner. Like, I don't know if you do, and like Michael's has them now that you can customize, and it's awesome. For a long time, I used the Mom on the Go planner by the In the Leafy Treetops, which is a Mormon company. And the Mom on the Go planner was not Mormon, but it had a lot of stuff that I didn't need. And so being able to customize it through Michael's, I can get stuff that I like, stuff that I need. And they're actually really basic. But I do the stickers myself, and like I use washi tape for vacations and whatnot. But get a planner. I say you need a paper planner, because that way you can physically show people what's going on. With phone planners, I have a lot on my phone that doesn't really apply to me, and I don't know if you're like that, but like I have the liturgical planner or the liturgical calendar on my phone. I don't have it in my planner, even though we do, we follow the liturgical calendar and the liturgical readings. But that's something totally different that I put somewhere else. I put it on my phone, that way I can access it. But this is me, my kids being my youth, because Jared and I don't have kids yet. But our high school is in blue. The private school that some of my kids go to is in red. Our kids ministry is always in orange. If there is something orange on my calendar, it's always our kids ministry. Our youth ministry is lime green. And then personal is black or purple. It's normally purple personal, but sometimes it ends up being in black. And then our church stuff is written in gold. I keep it like that. I like it like that, because that really helps me. And it helps me just by glancing at the calendar, and even in the weekly calendar, it helps me by saying, oh, I have this I need to do. Oh, I have this I need to do. I also keep a working to-do list inside of the week. So, this starts the week, and then this one over here ends the week. But this is my to-do list that I want to get done for the week. I was watching a blog by a photographer who earns like a lot more than we do, right? Because we're youth pastors, we don't earn a lot of money. But I'm talking like six figures, and they do like 15, 20 weddings a year or something, and they earn six figures. Here's the deal. She said in her blog earlier that if you want to earn six figures, your goal this year should not be earning six figures. Your goal should be something tangible. And so I took that and ran with it. And so for my goals, I put it in the very beginning of my calendar, like that says calendar, that says goals, right? And my goals are very tangible. My goals are make sure the monthly newsletter actually goes out, because I am terrible at communication, and I know that. And so to be a better youth pastor, I need to be able to put things out there in people's hands. So I need to make sure that monthly newsletter goes out. I want to do these weekly wrap-up videos because I think that helps me process, and hopefully one day it'll help somebody else in a smaller church, and in a smaller way. And I want to stay consistent. I want to make sure I blog more. I used to blog all the time, and my blog used to get tons and tons of hits. And throughout our adoption process, I started just blogging on adoption. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to get back to the real focus. And the real focus has always been youth ministry. And so that's what I want to do. I also want to see our youth ministry grow. Yeah, we have gone from 15 to 25 this year. And it's amazing. But I want to see us hit 40. I don't know how that's going to happen. But that's what I want to see. I want to see us hit 40. Like, that's my dream. 35 is my goal. My dream is 40 for this year. And then I want to see us have 4 adult leaders, other than myself and my husband, that are consistent. And see, we have some adult leaders that come and they go, but they're not consistent, and our kids realize that. But to be able to hit 40, we need at least 4 volunteers. And so that's what I'm going to start working on hardcore. In our kids ministry, we have like 6 volunteers all the time. They're consistent. They're amazing. Our youth ministry doesn't have that. And so that's something that I'm really going to work on this year. And so, and I'm going to create a children's church curriculum. It's something that we haven't had. And that's one of my goals for the year. For our family, one of our goals is to do laundry twice a week. Like, our house normally looks halfway decent, but our bedroom never looks decent. Like, ever. Laundry to the max. Our goal is to get rid of like half of what we own, and that way laundry twice a week should be able to suffice. And then also with like this planning stuff, I'm also planning my days out. So on Mondays, I'm going to work on certain things. On Tuesdays, I'm going to work on certain things. On Wednesdays, certain things. And on Thursdays, certain things. But please know, like, every afternoon from 5 o'clock until 8 o'clock, I'm at a ball game. So my days start later. And so I don't go into the office at 9 o'clock. Like, I don't do that. I don't go in at 8. Well, I like to work from home. I am an extroverted introvert, which means I'm extremely extroverted. I love to talk to people, but it sucks up everything within me. And so being at home helps me to really pull that together. So within my schedule, I've worked in a lot of soul care options, which means I'm watching podcasts, whether I'm streaming them from my phone to my Apple TV or I'm watching them on iTunes, just soul care for me. And that is over and above like my quiet time and my time planning our sermons. And I'm using a lot of DYM curriculum this year. But please know, like, I take their stuff, I make it my own through study. And that's the way you're supposed to use it. But man, there's so much awesome things at Download Youth Ministry that if you don't have a membership, you need a membership. Like, my dad said, well, Ariel, where are you getting all these things? Because he's a pastor. And I said, I'm getting them from Download Youth Ministry. And so my dad, like, logged into my account. And I'm not saying you should do this, but he logged into my account. He saw what we had. He downloaded a couple things for his church through my account. And he is loving it. So hopefully he's going to get his own account so he can stop using mine and using my store bucks or my store credit. But I just wanted to talk to you just for, it's been 18 minutes, almost 19 minutes, just about, number one, where was your Christmas wins this season? And then working into the new year, what are your goals? And make sure you're revisiting those goals. And then, what about your planner? What does it look like? Do you have everything on there so your spouse can sit down with it and say, oh, this is what we have this week. And they can know exactly where you're going. And please know, like I say, I'm out till 8 o'clock. A lot of times my husband goes with me to games. He loves going to watch games. And then during the spring, his work actually goes until 8 to 9 o'clock at night. And so he's not here. So we're not missing family time at all, going to games. So I hope I gave you some insight. Small town youth pastor, small rural youth pastor. I hope some of you could use it. And I hope it'll help your ministry in just a couple ways. Thanks. See you later.